Have you ever wondered if the very exercises that promise vitality might be the ones quietly wearing down your heart? What if all that sweat and strain is doing more harm than good, especially after 60? If you're over 60, every step you take, or even choose not to take, can deeply affect the very engine that keeps you alive, your heart. Now, I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to protect you. As a cardiologist who has spent decades treating seniors, I've seen far too many walk into my office looking perfectly fine, smiling, active, seemingly healthy, but underneath that calm surface, something dangerous is often brewing: high blood pressure, erratic heart rhythms, or subtle signs of cardiac stress they never saw coming. And shockingly, the culprit isn't always bad food, laziness, or a sedentary lifestyle. Sometimes, the cause is far more unexpected. It's the wrong kind of exercise. Yes, exercise can be medicine, but like any medicine, the dose and the form matter immensely. When the workouts are too intense, too sudden, or too aggressive for a heart that's aging and growing more delicate, the consequences can be serious. The truly alarming part? Most seniors don't even realize they're making this mistake. They think they're doing something good for their body, when in reality, they might be silently putting their heart at risk. That's why I'm here today, not just as a doctor, but as someone who genuinely cares. I want to walk you through 5 specific types of exercise that could be silently damaging your heart. But don't worry, this isn't just a warning. I'll also share exactly what you should do instead, so you can stay active and healthy without endangering your most vital organ. So please, stick with me. Your heart deserves the truth. And what I'm about to share might be the most important fitness advice you hear all year. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on life-changing health tips made just for you. If you find this video helpful at any point, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, and let me know how I can make this better for you, because your feedback helps others too. Let's begin with the first habit, one that's gaining popularity fast and might even be part of your current routine: high-intensity interval training. Often called HIIT, these workouts are made up of short, intense bursts of activity, followed by brief moments of rest. Sounds efficient, right? But here's the danger. After 60, your heart isn't the same powerhouse it was at 30 or even 50. It's more sensitive, less adaptable, and far less forgiving of extremes. HIIT forces your heart to accelerate rapidly and recover just as fast, something many aging hearts struggle with. I've seen senior patients attempt these trendy regimens, believing that pushing harder means living longer. But that's not always true. Sometimes, it's exactly the opposite. But here's the hard truth, one that many well-meaning fitness plans forget to mention. These intense workout routines, especially ones like HIIT, don't just challenge your heart, they can overwhelm it. If you're over 60, your heart might already be dealing with silent stressors like high blood pressure, irregular rhythms, or stiffened arteries. So when you push yourself into breathless sprints or rapid-fire movements, you're not building resilience, you're building risk. Think about it. You're gasping for air, your heart pounding like a drum, sweat pouring down your face, and you assume it's just a good workout. But what if, instead, your body is signaling distress? What's even more concerning is that this damage doesn't always shout. It whispers, silently. You won't always feel a sharp pain or drop to your knees. The signs are more subtle: a wave of fatigue, a bout of dizziness, a skipped heartbeat. You might blame it on age, but deep inside, your heart could be waving a desperate red flag, one that's often ignored until it's far too late. And that's the tragedy I see far too often. Seniors, brave, committed, motivated individuals, pushing themselves not out of vanity, but out of hope. They want to live longer, stay independent, keep up with their grandkids or hiking buddies. But the price of pushing too hard? A sudden trip to the emergency room. A scare that changes everything. Sometimes, a moment you can't undo. So let's rethink what real strength looks like. Because true strength, at this stage of life, isn't about going faster or lifting more. It's about being wise enough to protect your body. That's why I always recommend what I call the quiet champions of heart health: gentle walking, slow tai chi, Light swimming. These movements may seem simple, but they're incredibly effective. They nourish your heart without shocking it. They support your longevity without gambling your safety. They work with your body, not against it. Remember this, in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, safety is strength, and sustainability is the real secret to success. Now, while overexertion is a clear threat, there's another danger that hides in plain sight, often overlooked because it's not about speed or intensity. It's about posture. It's about pressure. And it shows up in nearly every home gym and fitness class without anyone noticing, until it's too late. Let's talk about point number 2, core crunches and heavy lifting. There's a widely accepted belief that building a strong body is the key to staying youthful and resilient as we age. And in many ways, that's true. Muscle is essential for balance, movement, and independence. But here's what people rarely talk about: the internal strain those strength exercises can cause, especially for seniors. As a heart doctor, I've seen this mistake again and again. Seniors performing sit-ups, crunches, or grabbing heavy dumbbells with admirable determination, but without understanding the physiological impact. Because when you engage your core intensely or lift something heavy, you're not just working your muscles. You're increasing pressure, a lot of pressure, inside your chest and abdomen. That internal surge doesn't just stay where it starts. It radiates upward. It squeezes your heart. It spikes your blood pressure. And if your heart is already vulnerable, this sudden compression can be incredibly dangerous. Now, let's take a closer look at what's really happening inside your body when you perform those heavy lifts or core exercises. That spike in pressure? It's not just in your stomach or chest. It doesn't stay neatly in place. It travels, forcefully pushing inward and upward. And as it rises, it creates a surge in blood pressure, placing a sudden and heavy demand on your heart. For a heart that's already aging, perhaps unknowingly fighting against hardened arteries or silent plaque buildup, this pressure can be the last straw. It can push your cardiovascular system past its limit. I've seen it firsthand. Patients collapsing mid-rep, others wincing in sudden chest pain, still others suffering irregular heartbeats, sometimes mere minutes after completing what they assumed was a routine, healthy workout. They weren't out of shape. They weren't reckless. They were just unaware of how fragile the heart can become with age. And here's the most painful irony: these weren't people ignoring their health. On the contrary, they were committed, motivated, and doing everything they thought was right. But the body in its 60s or 70s plays by different rules than the body at 30 or 40. The circulatory system loses its elasticity. The heart doesn't adapt to pressure shifts as easily. And one wrong lift, just one, can trigger a chain reaction no one sees coming. So what's the solution? Do we just give up on strength altogether? Absolutely not. Strength training can still be one of the most powerful tools for maintaining mobility and independence. But it must be adapted, tailored to support your heart, not strain it. Start with resistance bands instead of heavy weights. Focus on slow, controlled movements instead of jerky, fast-paced lifts. Most importantly, work with a trainer who understands the unique needs and limitations of a senior heart. You don't need to stop building strength, you just need to stop shocking your system. And speaking of shocks, not every danger comes from within. Some of the greatest threats to your heart can't be found in the gym or on your yoga mat. They're outside, lurking in plain sight. I'm talking about the environment. Specifically, temperature. Which brings us to point number 3, exercising in extreme temperatures, a hidden hazard most people never even consider. We often speak about exercise as the key to good health. And in many ways, that's true. But for older adults, when and where you move can be just as important as how you move. I can't count how many times I've seen well-intentioned seniors lace up their sneakers and head out for a brisk morning walk in winter, or decide to break a sweat under the blazing summer sun. They do it with the best intentions, unaware that the environment around them is quietly working against them. Once you're over 60, your body starts to lose its ability to regulate internal temperature effectively. Cold air constricts your blood vessels in an effort to keep your core warm, but that also causes your blood pressure to rise. For someone with hypertension or clogged arteries, This sudden rise in pressure can push the heart into dangerous territory. On the flip side, extreme heat dilates your blood vessels. Your heart then races to help cool you down. But dehydration sets in faster than most people expect. Now, your heart is no longer pumping efficiently, it's trying to survive. I've had patients collapse mid-walk on a hot day. Others came in breathless after just a few minutes in the winter chill. It wasn't because they were unfit. It was because their heart was fighting the elements, not just their activity level. These moments are not rare. They are warning signs, and they serve as a reminder that sometimes the environment, not the workout itself, poses the greatest risk. What I'm about to tell you next is critical, and I need you to hear it clearly. These incidents I've described, they're not rare, they're not random, they are not outliers, they are warning signs, flashing like a hazard light on your dashboard. But sadly, too many seniors don't recognize them for what they are. Why? Because the shift happens slowly, almost invisibly. One day, your heart tolerates a brisk walk in summer. A year later, that same walk could be a serious health threat. Here's what most people don't realize. Your cardiovascular system becomes significantly more sensitive to temperature changes as you age. You don't need to run a marathon to put your heart under stress. All it takes is exposure to the wrong weather, at the wrong moment. Exercise should be a tool of healing. It should nourish your body, energize your mind, and protect your heart, not put it at risk. And yet, without understanding how aging changes your internal thermostat, even a healthy habit like outdoor walking can become a hidden hazard. So what can you do? For older adults, comfort often trumps challenge. Choose indoor spaces where temperature stays consistent. Before you move, hydrate. During your workout, sip water. Afterward, hydrate again. Dress in breathable fabrics or warming layers depending on your environment. And most importantly, listen. Listen when your body speaks in whispers, because if ignored, those whispers become screams. Now, we've covered one external enemy, the weather. But lurking even deeper is another danger, one that comes not from outside your body, but from how you move it. It's a threat built into many popular fitness routines, especially those that celebrate speed, shock, and sudden shifts. Ready for the next insight? It might just surprise you. Let's dive into point number 4, jumping. Rapid movements and sudden direction changes, also known as the silent chaos happening inside an aging body. There's something undeniably exhilarating about high-paced workouts. Whether it's jumping jacks, stair sprints, burpees, or quick-fire aerobics, these movements feel powerful, like you're pushing back against the clock, fighting off age, reclaiming youth. But the truth? After 60, your body no longer absorbs shock the way it used to. Your balance isn't what it once was. And the quick changes that once felt invigorating may now be setting off alarms inside your nervous system and cardiovascular pathways. I've seen it countless times. Seniors, strong, determined, proud, join group classes or follow along with online routines. They try to keep up with younger peers, mirroring the jumps and spins and quick transitions. They want to feel alive. They want to feel capable. But within hours, or even minutes, they're in my clinic, describing dizzy spells that seem to come out of nowhere, pounding heartbeats they can't slow down, and in some heartbreaking cases, falls. Scary, unexplainable falls. This isn't weakness. It's not failure. It's biology. As we age, our reflexes slow. The nervous system takes longer to send signals. Blood vessels become less elastic. The heart, already working harder under the surface, suddenly has to deal with a flood of demands. Spikes in blood pressure, uneven heart rhythms, poor oxygen circulation, and it all happens during what looks like a simple movement. But what seems simple on the outside, a quick jump, a twist, a sidestep, isn't so simple on the inside. To an aging body, those moves are a storm, a mix of poor coordination, sudden cardiovascular load, and strained recovery. And for seniors with even mild heart conditions, this storm can turn into an emergency. Here's the saddest part. These older adults weren't reckless. They weren't ignoring their health. In fact, they were trying to preserve it, trying to stay active, keep up, stay independent. And that's what makes these stories so painful. Because with the right guidance, they could have stayed strong without putting themselves in danger. Real strength, especially in your 60s and beyond, doesn't roar, it whispers. It isn't measured in how fast you can run or how high you can jump. It's measured in how gently and deliberately you move, how carefully you protect the things that matter most, your heart, your balance, your peace of mind. This is why I always recommend exercises like Tai Chi, water aerobics, or even gentle stretching routines. They may not make headlines on flashy fitness blogs. They might not feel intense. But don't let their calmness fool you. These slow, flowing movements offer deep, lasting benefits. They create stability. They calm the nervous system. They protect the heart. And most importantly, they help you build a routine you can sustain, not just for months, but for years. They are the quiet champions of senior wellness, the unsung heroes of long-term cardiovascular health. But here's the twist: just when you think you're doing everything right, another hidden risk sneaks in. It's not how you exercise, it's when. Let's talk about point number 5, exercising too late at night, a subtle but serious threat that disrupts one of the most essential healing mechanisms your body depends on: restorative sleep. At first glance, evening workouts might seem like the perfect solution. The day is behind you, the house is quiet, and it finally feels like there's time to focus on yourself. But for adults in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, what appears convenient may, in fact, be compromising your health more than you realize. I've seen it so many times. Seniors who finish dinner and head out for a brisk walk. Others who hop on a stationary bike or do a quick set of light exercises just before bed. They're disciplined, they're motivated, and they mean well. But what they don't know is this: even gentle activity, if done too close to bedtime, can throw your nervous system out of balance. It can raise your heart rate, stimulate adrenaline, and prevent your body from slipping into the deep, restorative sleep it desperately needs. As we age, our sleep becomes more fragile. The natural rhythm of our body, what scientists call the circadian cycle, becomes more sensitive to disruption. And when you exercise late, your body gets a confusing message: stay alert, just when it should be winding down and preparing for recovery. Here's where it gets dangerous. Poor sleep doesn't just leave you groggy. It's linked to higher blood pressure, greater inflammation, increased insulin resistance, and even irregular heart rhythms. And the damage isn't always felt immediately. It builds, night after night, until one day you wake up not feeling rested, but worn down, and you don't know why. Here's what I tell my patients. Your heart doesn't just need movement, it needs rest. It needs those quiet nighttime hours to slow down, repair, and recharge. And if you keep stealing that time from your heart, you're silently weakening it, even if the rest of your routine seems healthy. This doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise. Far from it. It simply means your timing matters more than you think. Aim for morning or early afternoon workouts whenever possible. These times work with your body's natural rhythms, not against them. They lead to deeper, more refreshing sleep. They balance your energy, and they create a gentle, consistent routine that supports both your physical and emotional well-being. And when the evening comes, make it sacred. Let that be your time to unwind, reflect, relax. Give your heart the rest it has earned from beating for you all day long. Because while sleep is when your heart heals, there's still one more habit, a tiny one, so easy to overlook, that could be putting your cardiovascular health at risk. It's something many seniors skip, without even realizing it's the final missing piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about that in the next point. A heart-to-heart finale, the quiet superpower of listening to yourself. Let me step out from behind the white coat for a moment and speak to you simply as one human being to another. If you're still here, I know you care, not just about adding years to your life, but about adding life to your years. During my decades at bedsides and in operating rooms, I've watched vibrant, capable seniors lose everything to a single misguided choice: a workout done too hard, too late, or without the right guidance. Every time a patient looked at me and whispered, "I didn't think it was a big deal," my heart broke a little. Because after 60 almost everything is a big deal. Your heart has pulsed faithfully for tens of millions of beats. All it asks in return is that you treat it with the respect it has earned. That means paying attention to 4 simple pillars every single day. Number 1. What you eat. Food is either fuel or friction. Number 2. How you move. Exercise can heal or it can harm. Number 3. When you rest. Sleep is non-negotiable surgery for the soul. Number 4. How you handle stress. Calm is cardiac currency. Stop chasing the fantasy of raining like you're 30. Start honoring the reality of being wonderfully, wisely older. Consistency, kindness, and keen awareness will carry you farther than any medal for overexertion ever could. Choose wiser, not harder. Walk with presence, rest with purpose, and move in harmony with your age, never in rebellion against it. That is real strength. That is everyday courage. But just before we finish, I need to warn you about one final trap. It doesn't appear while you're moving, it sneaks in when you do nothing. Skipping the activity your body craves lets silent risks stack up. Cholesterol rises. Muscles tighten. Arteries stiffen. Inaction is the slowest, quietest thief of all. So here's my last plea. Don't go silent on your heart. It beats without a break. It asks for so little. And it gives you absolutely everything, every laugh, every hug, every step you'll ever take. After 60, it doesn't need fear, it needs honor. The 5 exercises I've urged you to rethink aren't evil on their own, they're simply mismatched to an aging heart. What once energized may now exhaust. What once built strength may now invite strain. And that's okay. Aging is not weakness, it's accumulated wisdom. Let that wisdom guide you from this moment forward. If this video resonated with you, tap the like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Drop a red heart in the comments if you're committed to listening to your body from today on. Together, we'll keep every heartbeat strong, steady, and grateful for the life it carries. Stay kind to your heart, and it will keep carrying you boldly into tomorrow. Your journey isn't about pushing harder. It's about moving smarter. It's about breathing deeper, living with more intention, and choosing what heals, not what harms. Because your health, the kind that truly lasts, isn't measured in how much you sweat or how fast you move. It's measured in the quiet, steady strength of consistency, balance, and care. Let today be the day you shift your mindset. Let this be the day you begin protecting your heart, not punishing it. The day you stop chasing youth and start embracing wisdom. The day you give yourself permission to slow down, not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing to live more fully. And listen, if no one has told you this lately, let me be the first. You are not too old. It is not too late. And every small, gentle decision you make, every mindful step, every breath, every moment of rest, adds not just years to your life, but life to your years. So go ahead, take that next step. Carefully, kindly, and with your heart front and center. These lessons weren't meant to scare you. They're meant to empower you, to help you live more authentically, more confidently, and more joyfully. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered. What's one thing you've learned today that you're going to apply in your own life? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. Let's build a community of encouragement right here. Let's support one another as we learn to age with wisdom and strength. If this video spoke to you, please take a second to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us reach more people who need these insights, and your engagement means the world to us. And if you'd like to leave feedback, just type 1 if you found it helpful, or 0 if there's something we can do better next time. Your voice matters. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about your health. And most of all, thank you for being here. Here's to living life fully, wisely, and entirely on your own terms.